This is not financial advice. Ah, democracy. That glorious system where every vote counts, where we're all equal under the law, and where freedom reigns supreme. Right? Wrong. It was Joseph Stalin who slated, "Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the vote decide everything." Today, we're diving deep into the uncomfortable truth. Democracy, fascism, socialism, call it what you like, they're all just different names for the same thing: slavery. From day one, we've been playing a game rigged by the very concept of power, disguised in noble terms to keep us dreaming of freedom while we pay our dues, keep our heads down, and we had better thank our betters for the privilege. So buckle up as we shatter the illusion of freedom, wealth, and choice. Peeling back the facade of democracy to reveal the grim machinery beneath, along with the grotesques that man the stations, greasing the moaning wheels, trying not to catch your eye so they don't reveal the debasement of their souls. Because let's be real, freedom was always just a fairy tale. Don't be concerned with the description of the multi-dimensional control grid we're about to discuss, because the last third of this video is about solutions. Practical, non-aggressive ideas that are working already in organized communities around the world. Our world has been a one-government system from the start. Part 1. The oldest trick: democracy, slavery, and control. Let's see who remembers their mid-school history. There will be a test after, fail, and it's down a snake you'll slide. Fear-based education, rather, indoctrination. Think, the first man. You know, from Genesis. That's right, it was Adam. Not exactly free and independent, is he? No, he steps into this world, looks around, and what's the first thing he hears? "Hey Adam, we've got some rules around here. You might be the first human, but you've already got corporate regulations to get that big brain around, so stay in line and it'll all be fine. This ain't no free-for-all, mate. You'll work the land, obey the rules, and pay the price if you don't. Truth be told, there's a price to pay in any case. It's a minimum or you're done. And it's been the same story ever since. From tribal chieftains to feudal lords to today's elected representatives, the premise is identical. They have power, we pay for it, and they make the rules. The only difference is how they market it. They've just gotten better at making us feel like it's our choice. Clumsy old socialism, centralizing everyday items like toothbrushes. Single supply chains were inefficient and unreliable, revealing the flabby, uninterested belly of the state. They never even got to first base. They were so big that they were destined to fail. Spectacularly. A single nefarious nuclear accident, Chernobyl 1986, started the financial dominoes falling, sending the whole society into impoverished turmoil. Except, of course, the local globalists, who had previously ensured that the hand they had in the game was always going to be the winning hand. Oh, they've made some impressive changes over the years. They put the word free in front of market, slapped democratic on process, and added a dash of rights to human, just to keep us hooked on the idea that benevolence exists within the ruling class, because that's the way we would like to think that we would do it. You know, run the world. Big job when you think about it, no time for mucking about except for the occasional daily game of golf. But at its core, it's the same system. You're here to work, pay your taxes, tithes and fees, and if you don't, well, you're not pulling your weight. Society will brand you as the lazy one, the unworthy one, the one who's not contributing. You'll be marginalized and scorned, not even invited to Thanksgiving anymore. Please. Part 2. How freedom became the ultimate propaganda tool. Here's where things get mental. As in the mind. Government literally means to govern the mind. Well, if that is the job, may as well be good at it, eh? Hire the best marketers and manipulators, because if you're in government and you don't, well, it will look bad on the performance review. It's like a self-perpetuating catch-22. They don't even need to force us to work anymore. We've been propagandized into thinking it's noble. Work hard, achieve your dreams. Ever notice that the dreams they sell us, financial security, homeownership, the freedom to retire at 65, are all just things that keep us chained to the system? The dream is nothing but a down payment on debt. If you're born after 2000, the big, lazy, guaranteed growth Ponzi schemes like property and super have had their day. Newcomers can only hope for a quivering lower tulip as they watch the markets groan. And who benefits? The corporations, the political elite, the ones who write the laws to ensure they stay at the top while we stay on the treadmill. We believe them when they say they will make new laws that will keep us safer and wealthier than ever. New laws on top of the tens of thousands their brave predecessors wrestled into our collective consciousness, safer than ever. It might actually be true, but in a twisted reality, it manifests as not having the finances to travel means we won't get hurt on the road. Safe? No, just not free. Because we're not meant to be truly free. we're meant to feel free. It's a crucial distinction, but those brilliant propagandists know just which buttons to push, nudging us forward as we willingly line up at the slaughterhouse. I wonder, can we take our cars? Give us the illusion of choice, and we won't notice that every option leads back to the same trap. Take free markets, for example. Sounds great, doesn't it? Open to anyone with a dream and a work ethic. Until you realize it's actually a fenced-in playground for billionaires, where big money controls policy and regulation, ensuring they stay rich while we scrape by, praying that no more golf balls dent the car. Part 3, Democracy, Fascism, Socialism, just different names for the same game. Here's the truth that nobody wants to talk about: democracy, fascism, socialism. They're just flavors of the same authoritarian milkshake. We didn't realize supersized even existed as a concept for bureaucracy, yet here we are with local, state, and federal governing bodies employing a stated 20% of the workforce. However this number is arrived at, it seems artificially low when we consider. As of 2023, the Australian New South Wales public sector had a headcount of more than 450,000, making it Australia's largest employer in a state of only 8 million. So who out there is paying tax to pay all of these people? You, the self-under and barely employed? In a democracy, we pretend our vote counts, that we have a say in how things are run. But in reality, it's the wealthy elite who pull the strings. We recall Stalin's words, but only in private, as the work done by Goebbels, the Nazi propagandist, has been refined and magnified with artificial intelligence, so that most of the population is in a state of blissful ignorance and will challenge even the idea of covert systemic corruption. Yet it is what we have, a kleptocracy, where the most feeble-minded and corrupt run society. Corruption commissions find little or no fault in their ranks, certainly nothing criminal, all within the gray of the statutory acts. Yet the corruption abounds. Corporations can't go to jail, so there's no care, no responsibility at the top. They bankroll the candidates, they write the laws, and they decide what's in the public's best interest so they can meet theirs. So what if you get to choose between 2 or 3 candidates? They all serve the same interests, theirs and their masters, the oligarchs and monarchs. Fascism? The state and corporations join hands openly, making no bones about their alliance. The government and business are 2 sides of the same coin, and they openly control every aspect of life. Sound familiar? Just look at the corporate influence in today's democracies. They don't even need to wear a uniform. They're CEOs, lobbyists, public servants. The suits, the dealmakers, pressing the flesh so they might stretch their own. Socialism? It promises that the people own everything, but in practice it's just the government holding all the cards. Either way, they're in control, and the propagandists will have you convinced that you are much freer and happier by owning nothing. Call it what you want, but in the end, all these systems revolve around the same structure. Control by the few, obedience by the many, and distractions by the plenty. Your choices are an illusion, and freedom is nothing but a clever marketing campaign. Amazingly, they've managed to sell all of this as liberation. You're liberated to work, liberated to pay taxes, liberated to buy the very things you need to survive, plus all those other things we said would bring you happiness, but were really dopamine rushes because we did a switcheroo on those 2 concepts. We teach the children as soon as they can speak. Who has more, Mary or John? That was easy, wasn't it? Part 5. Let's take a quick tour through history's finest disasters. Nazi Germany, Mussolini's Italy, Stalin's USSR. What do they have in common? The promise of something better. Each began with grand ideas of freedom, unity, and equality, and every time it ended with power concentrated in the hands of a few who cared about their own gain. We look at them and think, that could never happen here. But really? Look at today's world. Corporations are practically the government. They fund elections, dictate policy, and even enforce their own laws. The American dream they sell us is nothing but a fantasy to keep us docile, heads down, working. They tell us we're free, yet they monitor our every move and limit our every action. Part 6. And then there's the ultimate conspiracy theory, the one world government, as if it's some nefarious plot waiting in the wings. Here's the thing. There's always been a one world government. It started that way. It's not a shadowy cabal in the back room. It's the system itself. A global economy controlled by corporations and politicians who call the shots everywhere, from laws to markets, from housing to food. Do you think the rules are different in Europe, Asia, or America? Sure, they tweak the laws to fit local dialects, but at the top it's the same model, a corporate government alliance pulling the strings. We've been in a one-world system since day one, They've just gotten better at making it look like freedom. Part 7. So how do we escape this holographic machine? How do we reclaim some actual freedom, however limited? Here's what we can do without needing permission from the very system that enslaves us. First, build community land cooperatives. Buy land together with your neighbors. This isn't just about ownership, it's about control. Keep land out of corporate hands and ensure it's used for the people by the people. Second, form private land trusts. These trusts bypass corporate acquisition. They keep land in the community for generations and block real estate developers from snatching it up for a quick profit. Third, embrace guerrilla gardening and urban farming. Use any land you can find to grow food, vacant lots, backyards, rooftops. Turn them into gardens that feed people, not corporations. They can take your land, but they can't take your tomatoes, even though they'll try by telling you it's more efficient to bring them tomatoes thousands of miles across the ocean than grow them yourself. Well, that's what a recent UN report says anyway. Statistics. It's the ever-malleable go-to branch of mathematics for corporations and politicians. Like a drunken thief caught in the act, it'll say anything you want. Fourth, create barter networks and local currencies. Take back control of trade. If you're not using their currency, you're not playing their game. Barter, time banks, even local currencies keep the power of trade in community hands. Fifth, set up tool-sharing networks. Why buy your own when you can share? Get people together, share resources, and sidestep corporate retail chains. Tool libraries and cooperatives let you pool resources and build independence. Sixth, defend your local history and culture. We're fed a corporate identity, but your real culture is right here in your community. Celebrate it, document it, protect it. Don't let them erase it with the latest globalized trend. Seventh, form pop-up markets and CSAs, community-supported agriculture. Ditch corporate supply chains by buying and selling directly. Support small local farmers, artisans, and craftsmen. Every dollar spent locally strengthens the community and weakens the corporate machine. Eighth, join seed-saving networks. Control your own food supply by preserving heritage seeds. Keep your food sources decentralized, diverse, and resistant to the influence of big ag. Ninth, network with land sovereignty movements. Globally, there are groups fighting the same battle for land and autonomy. Link up, share ideas, and learn strategies from those who've been in this fight longer. Part 8. So there you have it. Democracy is fascism, is socialism, is slavery. The choice has always been the same: serve the system or fight for your autonomy. For too long we've been sold a lie that the right to vote, the right to work, the right to shop equals freedom. They're just distractions to keep us from seeing the bars of our cage. We can continue to dream about freedom while enriching those who chain us. Or we can act, reclaim what's ours, and finally break free from a game that was never designed for us to win. If you like this video, share it, comment and subscribe. Most importantly, start thinking about how you'll claim your freedom in a world that never wanted you to have it.